I die on stream. We'll see what happens first. But firstly, and thusly, and so on, welcome to another session of Rescue at Raxis. It's been some weeks since we've had one, due to the fucking evilness of summer. It's too hot, it's too full of pollen. Anyway, last time the party fought and nearly died. In fact, one of them did die, although was revived at a very expensive price, against a necromancer and his assortment of bony underlings. There was a great sphere of skeletons, whittled down until it was just a solid orb of bone. The party stuck that on a fire along with whatever bits and pieces they could throw on top of it. They questioned the necromancer, somewhat unsuccessfully. He's a bit smug, really, but then that's an elf for you. His throat was then immediately slit by the cleric, the good healer in the group. And so they were deciding whether to continue pursuing the one who ran away, or maybe some other course of action, being that they're all bleeding massively, except for, of course, Siegfried, who is having a lovely day so far. But that's where we are right now, as you're sitting there on the top of a little hill, watching as that orb of bone is not at all being reduced by the flames. Over to you.
So I'm not entirely sure, but I think we're going to need a lot more flame for bone to start disintegrating.
I poke at it with a stick.
The stick is now on fire. The flame is creeping towards your fingers.
I throw the stick in the fire to burn up.
The stick crawls from the fire. It sees you. It pursues. Anyway, what's the rest of you guys doing?
So as much as I would enjoy catching up with his assistant, I don't think anyone of us is in a suitable state of being to continue the pursuit.
Agreed. We're all pretty beating the shit up.
We do not know if there were other minion with one who ran away.
I mean, there's 4 spellcasters in the party, and you've got enough spell slots that can be counted on one hand total.
Well, my vote would be that we vacate this particular area, just because I don't think we want to spend the night here.
Roughly, what is the time of day?
Daylight. No, it was going towards evening, but it's still orangish.
Okay, and the fire doesn't seem to be doing anything to the...
I mean, it's getting a bit blackened. That's about it. It could be toasty and warm in there.
Where's the necromancer's body?
Right near the fire.
Have we searched the necromancer yet?
You have, yeah. You found his staff
Right.
and a spellbook and such.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody has any worries about if we cremate the necromancer?
Not at all.
Nope.
Okay, Siegfried tosses the necromancer body on top of the fire.
There's this moment where, you asked for everyone's opinion on the matter and then realize they're not going to help you. So you have to drag and then finally just huck him onto the fire. It's not dignified. He's sort of splayed over the orb, but he does ignite eventually.
And while that's going on, I'm grabbing as many pieces of dry timber that I can find to chuck on top.
I mean, as you look down the hill, you can see the scorched earth and that massive tinderbox of a forest. There's plenty available all around you anyway. So yeah, you can get a good stack going.
For the next half an hour or so, I'm going to be going back and forth, grabbing timber and putting it on the fire while everybody takes a short rest.
Siegfried, well, it's an hour for a short rest, but Siegfried's getting himself some amazing cardio.
I guess I'll in the meanwhile, because I am not going to do menial labor. I have Droop for that. And he's not here, so... While we wait for that, if that's what we're going to do, I'll see if I can't do a identify on the spell book to find out what it's protected by spell.
Is it worth identifying the orb as well, possibly, if it's not burning?
Probably.
I mean, you'll have to wheel it out now. It's kind of got...
a big orb.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's also got a burning corpse on top of it and a lot of dry tinder going up.
I am not curious about this. Like, it's going to just say it's necromantic spell. It's not.
We had a bad luck burning a necromantic spell earlier, didn't we?
No, I would say we had good luck with burning it. It was just the result that came after it.
He's referring to the scroll.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
And
did we identify the staff?
Not yet.
In that case, while you're doing that, then I'll identify the staff.
Do you have a pearl?
Do I?
You require one?
I thought, didn't I identify something previously?
No. You did, but you used a... Well, no, actually. You found out you didn't have a pearl.
Oh yeah,
The only one who does is Cornelius.
I'll just sit my happy butt down.
Yeah, so I'm going to. So are we going to do a short rest? Or are we gonna go back to the whacking? Maybe to camp down. Continue the pursuit in the morning.
I would be much for going and resting.
Yeah, because I don't want to leave that wagon alone if there might be more undead nearby.
I'd also prefer not to add to the necromantic forces of our corpses.
Rest of the party's opinion.
You're all choosing to head south. Back to your wagon.
Only the thing I'm worried about is if we hike all the way down there, then we'll have to hike all the way back here.
Yeah, but I don't think it was such a long trip.
More of there was obstacles in the way.
Yeah, it's a bit more cleared out now. Getting into the forest is easier. There's a big fucking hole now.
Is the... no, we stopped the forest fire. That's
Yeah,
right.
you stop the fire, but there's still, a clear, sort of fireball-shaped indentation in the forest.
Is there any indication about why they were using this place?
Well, it's funny
Bit
you
out
finally
of way.
mention it. Also, it's stuff I forgot to mention is... Bybee's bushes here. You can actually see some of his camping supplies that have been bundled up. Nothing unusual. Bedroll, tent, very simple stuff.
No map?
No map or anything, no. But there are a few standing stones which aren't reflected on this drawn map. They're quite small, sort of squatting stones more. They come up to the height of Wolfgang. And they do have markings on them, but they are very worn out. They are very faint. Like it's the last little bit of the recess left in the stones. But they are arranged in a circular formation around where the massive pile of bones was before you either relocated or just turned that into the fire.
Okay. Cornelius, do you know anything about these stones?
Let me take a look.
Alright, roll deception. I'm joking, it is Arcana.
Yeah, I know.
Rain could assist if she wanted. She does have some experience in necromantic things.
Yep, I would be assisting.
A cursory glance indicates that this is, or at least was, a place of power. It was an area where the winds of magic and the sort of the weave itself was a little denser, a little easier to get a hold of and manipulate. As it is now, it's probably not that much different from any other region around it. Maybe a little stronger for magical powers, but then maybe it was stronger before he made the orb. Or strengthened it. It's definitely a location that was used for rituals. It seemed like a good place, a good font of magical power, but it is well past its prime now. Or to put it in short version, this is a place which would strengthen a ritual spell.
So it appeared to be a kind of a node for magical fun. That seems like it's been one though, but would explain why they would be standing here trying to put more bones into this abomination. But that does mean that perhaps we should figure out if there are more of these places nearby. As I'm sure that our fleeing friend will probably try something similar.
Well, it looks like they possibly succeeded, which is what our orb thing we're trying to currently burn.
Yeah, but I highly doubt that's the only thing he had up his sleeve.
Well, oh, you said there was something they had some belongings nearby.
Yeah, it's just very simple personal effects. It's, a bedroll, a fold-out tent.
Okay.
Nothing unusual, nothing distinct. Just, obviously he had to sleep at some time. Well, for what passes for elven sleep anyway.
More his other friend probably needed to sleep.
Well, if there's nothing else here, I suggest we start our trek back.
Did the other guy leave any belongings, or just does it look like our necromancer?
It looks like it's one bedroll, one tent, and as you look around, the only stuff you saw was on the necromancer, apart from, the shitty gear that was on the skeletons. Doesn't look like he left anything behind.
Interesting. We may as well head back to the cart. Only thing is, I'm almost not liking the idea of leaving this orb around, but it doesn't look like we can do much with it.
You've still got space in the wagon.
No, we are not taking it with us.
We
Hang
could
on.
shove it in the shell. That's an anti-magic.
Actually, how big is the bowl?
It's kind of the size of a dwarven torso, so it's pretty big. It's a pretty decent, barrel size.
Beach ball.
Bigger than a beach ball. Oh, yeah, that's right. I compared it to those, the workout balls that people sort of, lean back on and bounce about on. So-
Medicine balls.
Yeah, no, those inflatable ones. The ones that people would use in place of a chair, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah. So, pretty big. But it wasn't that hard to roll around.
I mean, we could also I could just make a floating disc appear, and we just toss it on that.
Or, one of you could make use of your circus lifestyle that you're about to reveal to your party members and roll that thing while riding on top of it.
Okay.
says Siegfried.
The Wolfgang gets on the ball.
Alright. The ball is still currently in the fire, with a corpse on top of it.
Yes, that's a problem.
There are logistical
Wolfgang
issues
gets
here
on-
that you guys caused.
Always.
Yeah, I say we just leave that thing behind and move back to the car. Let him, if he want to come back, he can pick it out of the smoldering corpse of his former companion.
I will remind you, in case you guys forgotten, since it's been about 3 or 4 weeks, Wolfgang and Zarzul did pick up the scent and the track of the dude who ran away.
Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking I kind of really want follow.
So you know he ran to the east.
Because if we just set up camp out here, we'll be able to keep track of his trail, and we can just keep following.
Possibly. Does it look like it's going to rain?
Potentially any minute, any hour now. It's autumn. It happens. At the moment, the sky's just overcast. It looks like it could, maybe, at some point. It's the kind of thing where you'd consult with your nearest farmer or cow.
Okay. Can I see a cow? Do I know what a cow looks like?
You are aware of a cow. You do not know its motives, however.
Okay.
Yes, you do not know the mind of one. Decisions. I mean, wouldn't it be terrible if he wheeled round? You know, actually went south and through the forest and killed some stray little goblin sitting on a wagon? That would be terribly horrible for a DM to do to someone.
I very much doubt.
Good. Continue doing so. He never saw it coming.
Also, remember, Owlbear's under his protection as well.
Yep. I trust him.
Also, he has shown inclination to not actually liking to kill humanoids. So what if it's not a skeleton or any other creature shows up?
So what are you guys doing? East or south, or just bivouacking down right now?
I vote east and then bivouacking.
I prefer south, where our cart is with all our rations that she spends.
Agreed.
I mean, Wolfgang has got plenty of stuff to nibble on here. The rest of you can go without.
Wolfgang is not happy with that idea. Even the roasted necromancer corpse isn't that tasty.
As much as I dislike the idea of letting him run off, I'm going to suggest we head south back to the wagon, rest up, and then come back here again. See if we can find the trail.
Alright, that's looking 3-1 there. And so the party head on down the hill. Feels a lot lighter in their steps. Less effort being put in, but every step is a little bit painful. There's no curative magics to pass around. There's no simple things to make the hurt go away. It feels like as you start stepping into the dried out forest, that these twigs, these little sharp little bits of shrubbery, they are looking for every open wound you guys have on you right now. They are seeking to catch. And it's just making the whole trip miserable. But hey, you killed a necromancer, a being of evil. And his great orb of
For
bone.
now.
Well, he could have been bluffing. He could have been boasting. But as you
an
continue...
elf. Was an elf.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but he would have to be a reasonably high level to be able to reanimate himself, wouldn't he? What sort of level does a...
Levels are an abstract concept not actually involved in the world. But
a
also...
reasonably skilled necromancer?
Yes, a skilled necromancer, but then you also think... Maybe not alone? Well, in fact, you know he wasn't alone.
Yes, we heard someone out shouting.
And we saw him in the forest to the east.
So maybe he's not responsible for his own revival.
At least I'll have to do it without the full body anyway. Makes it more expensive. Maybe his friends are cheapskates.
You have some time to converse as you're stepping through the twigs, and everything around you just snaps and breaks and just seems to get everywhere. You're feeling twigs in your hair, you're feeling little spikes trying to catch into your boots. This place is shit, even on the path you march through. It just feels like it's just getting even more irritating as you go on through. There's still the corpses of the ghouls, thankfully, and the trolls. Well, troll. And then finally, after what felt like 3 times the journey length, you're out into barely any sunlight. The rain is light. It's just coating. And you're out of the forest. You're into the clearing where so much ground was turned up to rediscover ancient dead warriors. In the distance, a bit more of a trudge is the wagon, are your horses, and Goblin and Owlbear, and Shell, and Loot Chest. Oh, surprise mechanic, sorry. And all your general swag, which you've just chucked in the back of it. And looking around, it just seems that that's all there is. There is no Manticore, there is no Chimera waiting for you. It seems okay, the cart seems in the same condition you left it in.
So it's not growing from where the last forest touched it.
I mean, if you inspect it, you just find it's the same discolored panel.
Hasn't spread.
Has not spread.
It is good.
So, Droop, anything unusual happened while we were gone?
I got bored and counted my fingers and toes, and I got 5 different numbers.
Interesting.
I'm not sure which one's right, but I'll work on it.
Good. You do that. Say, Rain,
Hmm?
why did you, shall we say, cut off the necromancer at the end?
Did I?
Yeah, you fucking cleaved out his
Oh.
throat.
Oh yeah, because I was already in the process of offing him, and then he started speaking again.
Yeah, his last words were to Castalia, in fact. And then you cut him off.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the. By then, I was a little bit too late. It's not like you can just stop mid-slice. That doesn't quite work.
I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it sort of does.
Yeah.
If you
but at that
stop
point, he's
inflicting
not
the
gonna be
wound, the wound.
talking.
If you stop inflicting a wound, generally the wound doesn't get worse.
Well, it depends on we're talking about slitting somebody's throat open. He's a little bit buggered at that point if you only slit half of a throat.
Says the healing cleric.
I would know because I have to heal them when they get buggered like that.
No, well, I must say though that was an incredibly heinous fight. It's not entirely happy about being engulfed in that flame, but I guess it's better than being dragged into a ball of bone.
That was incredibly unpleasant, and I don't want to do it again.
Yeah, you've not been surrounded by so many bones since probably college.
No, not even then. You have to remember, she was a bookworm in college.
Well, I assume I should start making accommodations for us and begin the ritual to make the chateau the scent
Yep.
miniature style.
Troop, of course, fully assisting, making sure the ritual site is nice and clear. And then, in beautiful, majestic, magical means, a bare wooden shack appears. It's kind of fancy. It's got pretensions of fanciness. And Droop is going around populating it with furniture, once again. This time the beds are a lot lower to the floor. Whatever rest of you up to during this time? Apart from licking wounds.
Well, I'm gonna begin to identify see what the spell locks are on the book.
Siegfried's about to start sorting out a hot meal for people.
Alright, first of all, could you pop me the identify spell in the chat there? Just so I can see what sort of details you get. So it should be just when you click it. There we go. So Siegfried's going to wrangle up a hot meal.
Yep.
Brady's going to play with Bufflesworth.
Well, you've got a shitload of rations to work on. I don't think Zarzul's hunted any living animals lately.
No, not for a while, and at this point I don't feel like hunting one.
Yep. You realize if you got into a scrap with a wild animal, you know it's a deer, it might be him or you.
Be 50-50 at least, maybe less.
Alright. You learn that there are glyphs of warding on the lock. You don't know what the spell is inside the glyph. You just know that it's waiting there, ready to be triggered. It looks like it's an anti-tampering measure. Oh, actually, no, hang on a second. This is the Necromancer spellbook, yes?
Yes.
It's sealed by Arcane Lock, which is a spell.
Mm-hmm.
It is one that can be, at least temporarily, well, no, actually I think it gets permanently removed by a Dispel Magic's use on it. Although, it can be cast at higher levels, which may mean the Dispel needs to be as well. But yes, it makes that impossible to pick, really. Nigh impossible, at least. By mundane or magical means.
Oh, but as I can read here from my own playset book, while affected by this spell, the up is more difficult break for DC break it or pick any locks on it increases by 10.
Indeed. But if it's on a very fancy lock, it makes it really fucking hard to pick.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're not a connoisseur of such a thing, it does look, greater than a padlock.
Well, I'm going. So it only has an arcane lock. It doesn't have any other nasty spells on it.
Nah, it doesn't have anything else on it.
All right. Then I say that I confidently hand it over to Siegfried and Siegfried. Do you think you can attempt to pick the lock on this? It's quite
Okay.
safe.
You sure? It's safe.
Yes. I am absolutely safe. The only thing that will happen is that you might not be able to open it. That is the only thing that would happen.
Okay.
But do you trust him?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is look for traps on the thing.
Good. Roll investigation. Always be sure.
Plus, look over the lock, make sure that it is what I think it is.
It looks completely safe, to be honest.
Right, on to the picking.
It's frustrating, mainly because you start with a ladle, but then you quickly swap out after your actual tools. You dig in there, you can feel one or two of them, you're just not quite getting the biting spot. The third, you can't even seem to feel the tumbler, and then you're just realizing this is fiddly. This is taking a lot more work than you expected, and as you're watching the rest of the party go through their own little chores and distractions, you realize you might end up spending your whole fucking night poking at this thing. It is difficult. It feels like just as you're getting the right sort of spot, it's moving on you. It's not happening.
Oh well, I'll give it another go another time.
Fair enough. It does have a magical means of making this annoying.
Any chance of dispelling the magic on it?
Not at the moment.
Hmm.
But
Can
it
I
is
shove
fun-
the
it is
book
entirely
into
possible.
the snail shell to see if it'll remove the magic?
Worth a try.
You shove the book into the snail shell, and doing so you remove it from sight.
I was about to say, I don't think that's going to work.
No, it's probably not going to work. But at least it's out of my line of sight at the moment, and I get before I burn.
Yeah, think the shell is more repelling of magic than dispelling of magic. If I remember what happened last time I threw a spell at that shell.
Yes, as all the party fondly looks up to the sky and remembers that happy time when he flung a spell at it, and a bunch of you got zapped. That was a lovely swamp.
Mm-hmm.
I strongly disagree with the word lovely there.
Oh well.
So do the rest of you fucks up too.
Well,
I'm playing with Pufflesworth.
I'm just gonna continue on with the staff to see what it has.
Alright, the staff is necromantically enchanted. So get your notes out. It has 5 charges. Well, capacity. Currently it has 0 charges, but it has 5 max. It has the bound spells Animate Dead and False Life. And then also a special touch. So Animate Dead takes 1 charge. False Life takes 2 charges, but it is cast at 3rd level. False Life gives you extra temp HP.
When you say animate dead and false light.
Animate Dead and False Life are the spells inherent in it, yes. Animate Dead takes 1 charge. False Life takes 2, because it's casting at 3rd level on False Life. It's an important thing to note that bit, because it changes how the spell works a bit. And it also has a special effect. You can expend all the charges in order to do 3d10 necrotic damage on a melee hit.
A power bop.
And you regain half that HP.
Hmm.
Well, you regain half the damage as HP. It counts weapon-wise as a quarterstaff.
How much did you say, sorry?
3d10. It also regains 1d4 charges per day.
There we go. Sure.
So useful for necromancer. Let's see. Oh yeah, sorry, it is attunement. Forgot about that. So, you know, happy bashing.
Guess I could have it on me just in case.
As Cornelius gets a bit of a side eye from the undead killing ranger and the undead killing cleric. You know what? This is
Well,
quite
look at
balanced.
it.
This is nifty.
Well, look at it this way. Look at it this way. I could heal myself and do damage.
Quick question: is it a finesse weapon?
It's a quarterstaff, so I think it is.
What?
I'll need to flip through
Finesse
here.
weapon.
Let's have a gander here. Although I don't think rogues are trained in quarterstaffs. That'd be your main issue there. Quarterstaff? No, it's just versatile.
Damn it!
Yep. So we'll need some brawn to swing it. So good luck there, the entire party.
Well, if we do have a set of gloves around somewhere.
I'm wearing them.
Well,
Well, as Cornelius finished.
yeah, I don't think that he had anything. Did he have a ring or something on him? Can't remember.
I believe he had a platinum ring on him, is what I said last time.
I believe it wasn't magical.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But it's platinum.
Platinum, yep. Looks to be about
yeah,
worth 50 gold.
Cornelius
It's
already
gonna be
wearing
useful pretending.
two platinum rings on him already from the first adventure.
He had a necklace. In a strange
Silver spellbook, necklace, strange page, staff, 2 scrolls, and a component pouch.
Oh, he had a scroll as well, yeah.
Yeah, it might be worth taking a look at what the scroll actually is.
The necklace wasn't magical, though, was it? So I
I'm
should
not
check.
too sure. We actually checked.
Yeah, I should check my own notes.
Well, we would have known if it was or not because of the way that it worked, but everything got lit up.
Let's see here. Oh, yes. The scroll is for the spell Sending.
Well, sending could be. I guess I could just copy it down my book. As well, keep it. Hang on, let me just remember what sending actually does.
It allows you to send a message of 25 words or less to someone you have some knowledge of, so long as they are on the same plane as you. Distance does not matter, and they are able to respond likewise.
So he had 2 scrolls of sending, or what was the other one?
Yeah, it was just 2 scrolls of Sending.
Well, if I can take one of them, I can copy my book, though, of course. It will be questionable whether I will actually ever use it.
Well, it could be useful if we ever get separated.
Yeah, so maybe it's better that we keep a scroll each. Just in case we need to actually use.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm always expand my book, but in this case, it'll probably be better if it was spread out to make actual good use of it, and not of mere curiosity on my end.
Rain would certainly be able to make use of it. It's on her spell list.
Oh yeah. Speaking of this, Drew, can I borrow your spell book for a moment?
Yeah, okay, yes, sir.
Thank you. Because I want to copy over his Chaos Bolt into my book.
The question is, do you have the rare inks and parchment required? It costs money to copy spells into books.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, I guess I can then.
Yeah, it's a bit of a bugger vet. Well, I will say, as you settle down to try and think about putting Chaos Bolt into your spellbook, you realize this isn't a wizardly spell, is the way you're thinking about it. It's all the calculations here are equating wrongly. The diagrams aren't matching up to what Droop actually did.
Huh.
Did Droop accidentally become awesome?
Well, no, you do
No, this-
remember that this book was sold with the spell in it.
Yeah, it came with the book. Can I see, is there any signature on who made the spell?
I mean, there is the handwriting, but there's no name attached to it. Maybe if you had some other example of their work, but all you got are how they write down their formula and their gestures.
Yeah, I suppose the rest of the book there's that BA belongs to.
No, nothing like that.
Hmm. Alright. Here you go, Drew.
Okay, thank you. Alright, what are the rest of you silent ones doing?
I'm currently cleaning Wolfgang of all the blood. He's got wounds that need tending.
Hmm. Yes. I am quite annoyed by the fact that you forgot to mention the fact how you reacquire your creature afterwards.
I forgot how much the cost was.
To be fair, he had only just come back from nearly dying himself. But yes, for those who missed it, a 300 gold diamond was used to revive Wolfgang, when 25 gold of simple food and 8 hours of ritual would have brought him back as well.
Mhm.
He had to save the doggo.
Starting to realize you got a bit less of a safety net now, huh? There's what, 2 diamonds left for the whole party to worry about.
I'm gathering 2 more healing potions.
I didn't think I bought the crate in the first place.
Exactly.
And so you all begin to settle down for the night?
Yeah. Basically, if Siegfried has finally managed to get the dinner done.
Yes, well, what is his
Hopefully.
offerings?
more likely heated rations.
You have warm, soggy hardtack, although somehow still dry in the middle. It refuses to absorb water. There's some pickle jerkin. Various bits of dried fruit that are now, slightly moist, but heated as well. Some of it's better, some of it isn't. Just nothing seems to fix hardtack. But it's a meal of some quantity, and in a way that's nourishing. You have full bellies. You are still replacing a lot of blood that's missing. But, you're in your nicely enclosed magical bubble, shaped into a shack. And the furnishings, while slightly off-kilter now and again, are comfortable enough. Droop adding even more cushions. Small throw rug. And also a modesty drape for his own bedroom. Are you guys going to post watches?
I would hope so.
So sorry, but what were you saying, Scotch?
No, it's just I am glad to see that the Droop are starting to finally become a civilized person.
Only through imitation. He has no concept of why.
Isn't that basically what we all do?
Alright, who is first watch?
I'll go first. So Siegfried first.
Alright, roll for it. It's a dark night out there. Very quickly, it's just completely consumed by the night. The rain actually seemed to trail off a bit. The sky's not clear. There's a handful of stars you can see poking through, and not much of a moon. And as you start pacing around the interior, start checking through all the windows, now and again even just poking your head out, just on the off chance. It feels like there's something happening. But then you always feel that way, to be fair. Around you, though, there seems to be nothing waiting and lurking and salivating at the chance to tear your flesh apart. But, there might be any moment now. But for now, it seems like it's okay. Your watch ceases.
Yay!
Now it's just the all-consuming darkness in your mind. Where there's no one to help
See
you.
if I can't get a decent sleep later.
Dazzle will take next watch.
Again, there's that slight awkwardness of having to, stick the chairs in place. It's a pretty decent dream there, Siegfried. It's okay. It's not like your wildest fantasy or a horrible flesh-ripping hell. It's just you're remembering a time you were...
Mediocre.
Yeah, you're remembering a time you were in a cafe. It's nice. It's a nice chill day. There's some people you seem to recall. It's okay. Back to Zarzul, who is sliding chairs underneath a window so he can hop up and take a look. He could just poke his head out through a window, but that'd be stupid to do. And of course, even with the hood off, he's still got the same limit of sight. Able to scan well enough in the immediate vicinity, the horses seem to be fine. They're not spooked at all, they're not stirring. And the watch comes to a close. But man, doing that watch definitely took its toll. Your feet are aching.
Yep.
Who's taking...
roll under a bed if they're high enough and get some sleep.
I'll take the third watch and make sure to realign the hut a little bit so that it doesn't disappear first thing in the morning.
I'll tag along on the third watch.
I was actually going to tag along on the third watch.
Ladies, one at a time, please.
As they push Cornelius back to bed. I just say, we'll keep watch, Cornelius. It's fine. You can take fourth.
No, because Rain's actually going to want to try to grab Cornelius for a word. Not that kind of word.
No, I'm just thinking of how many people have grabbed Rain for a word. Do you want to tell us about your past?
I guess I'll head to the fourth watch then.
No, you can take the third watch as well. Do it.
we can have a party.
Yeah, I will say Droop and Wolfgang take fourth.
No, not on that, no. I'm having a Pufflesworth apocalypse.
Zarzul accidentally poked a few people he was going back to bed, and awakens Castalia, Rain, and Cornelius. And you know what? It's just that awkward phase if you can't really feel yourself going back to bed now.
Oh.
Well, that seemed to be busy this evening.
Hmm?
Mm-hmm. Care to join for a smoke?
As I recall, what usually happens when Castalia smokes, which usually involves vomiting blood. I'm good, thank you. But
Well,
I
we
can
could-
offer a glass of wine.
I was going to suggest a glass of wine, come to think of it.
And then Castalia looks at you and remembers what happens when he takes a wine and involves vomiting.
Oh. Rain looks at Cornelius and says, if you provide the glasses, I'll provide the wine.
I believe my assistant already have. Oh, jeez.
Wait,
Holy
what?
shit, that perception.
Of
You're not
course,
hiding it.
yeah, Cornelius spends a lot of time expertly looking at the women because he can't see anything out the windows at all. All he can see is the interior of his little domain. But he does it with the
Wine
eye. Yeah, he does it with such skill.
The wine glass are filled exactly to where they need to be.
He's even holding it up to admire the wine and using the reflections to keep check behind him.
Well, the wine that Rain's going to be pulling out is actually going to be the scent bottle of wine.
I assumed so. You wouldn't have this evening with third-rate wine, would you? Even second
No, I
rate?
don't think so.
Not when you can have fourth rate.
Shush you. So what was it that you made? Apparently, both of you wanted to stay up this evening.
Rain shuts up and looks at Castalia.
A chance to relax, mostly, and enjoy good company.
I
Fact
feel
that
like it's a
we're-
deception roll that's about to be dropped here.
In the background, sleazy saxophone music starts up. We stick on the film grain and the grindhouse filter. Someone's losing a limb tonight.
Oh, God. That took a fucking turn.
In the morning, the women are gone and Cornelius is limping out with a wand for a leg. Bitches took his ankle. Anyway, back to your scene.
Rain pauses and goes, well, eventually I'd like a word with you, probably. I had something I wanted to discuss.
I see.
In private.
She glances at the devil.
I knock some of the ash out of my pipe, give a shrug, and move it away to give them a bit more privacy.
You'll probably have to step outside the hut.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just pick any
Don't they have-
wall.
Don't they have side rooms though?
Yeah, we'll say there's
well,
a side room. Why not?
That's my bedroom.
Yeah. She can go look at the slightly askew family portraits that Droop created. He couldn't quite get the ears right on some of the brothers. Constantine looks a little bit too much like how Cornelius describes him as opposed to real life.
Rain takes a really deep breath and clearly looks like she does not want to have this conversation at all. All right, Cornelius. I want to apologize. I was an asshole earlier.
Thank you.
I
What
knew
about
I
bringing-
shouldn't. I was
Sorry,
just gonna.
you.
I shouldn't have been an asshole regarding the wine, and I know better than that.
What do you mean being an asshole about the wine?
I know that I was taking a dig at you regarding the fact that this was a quote unquote cheap bottle of wine and yada 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 yada.
But the merchant didn't know what he was holding on to.
I know, but you know that I was being a little bit of an asshole there, so I apologize. I should know better than that.
Well, I accept your apology.
Thanks.
And I will attempt to not be too crass in my criticism of your knowledge.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It actually is pretty decent wine.
Well, not the best year, but I think we got through it. Still think that my father should let it linger a little longer to make the oak seep more into it to compensate, but all in all, acceptable.
The one thing you can say about that family brewery, they make decent wine.
Oh, that's grown worthy. That's grown worthy. Ay. So I'm going to hazard a guess. According to that note, you don't have this vineyard anymore, do you?
Put down the wine glass on the table.
At high velocity.
No, very carefully. Well, not that it really matters, it's illusionary. But still, you treat the wine in it carefully. No, I'm afraid not.
Well, it explains
not-
why you're out here.
Though I do not mind telling as to why, since it is not my fault. I do not mind that the people who are responsible for it get most of the blame, which is my fault. It is the useless cretin that.
Nope.
I only heard half of that.
Yeah, Scotch cut out there.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay.
I do not mind sharing the information that the useless cretin that is my father is responsible for us losing the one thing that we had some pride in it in our family. God knows the rest of the family does not much to hold up the whole family name.
I'm going to hazard a guess and assume you're one of the younger brothers.
Middle, actually.
You know, bog standard.
There's at least
And
some
I
hope
would-
for my younger brother, naive that he may be.
Well, there's usually help for the younger siblings anyways, because I'm gonna hazard a guess. So you're out here and you're trying to make money to come back and bring back to them, right?
Not so much money as weight, political and social standing weight.
Yeah. That
Money
that
is
was
money is simple. If we wanted to simply buy back the farm, we could just heavily tax the peasants in the area. Fortunately, my father is not that kind. Does not have the mind for numbers. Nor that does my oldest brother. All they know is that they lost a vast amount of income from the winery, and they do not understand the money that you get from peasantry.
uh, isn't it always the middle children and the younger children that have to bail out the elder brother?
I would not know. I've not exactly met that occasion, though. You sound like you're familiar with it.
Cornelius. My dad was a prick. And he
I
wanted me to marry a noble. So I became very acquainted with a whole bunch of y'all.
am very sorry.
Oh, don't be. I don't have to deal with them anymore. Surprisingly, when you waste all of their money on that they've spent on your college funds by ending up in the wrong crowd, they tend to not want you around anymore.
Well, at least not if you're until you're discovered, that is.
True. Then again, I think they were also more pissed off that I lied and said that I wasn't dating who I said I was, so I could continue the schooling, but that's a different matter entirely.
How many had you going at that time?
Oh no, I was only dating one person at the time.
Oh,
No, I had a friend that we would pretend to date so that my parents would keep paying for my schooling.
see.
It's a whole lot more complicated than yours is.
I assume so.
Castalia, as you feel the sheets, you realize Droop made them a hell of a lot fluffier and softer than yours. And this headboard, it's got little tiny Corneliuses inscribed on it.
Do we want to call Castalia back?
Well, if you have nothing further to add.
Oh yeah, no. I just wanted to get that out of the way.
Fair enough.
And for
I
perhaps...
pop up and
Go on.
I was about to say I pop up and stick my head in the room. All right, we're good.
All right. Droop is a focused but talented artist. You should see the etchings of Cornelius on this headboard.
Yes, it's him doing various semantic gestures.
That's mildly adorable.
I would say he has picked up a lot in the 6 months that I had him in tutelage.
Very impressive.
He was always a born artist.
Even when he was drawing dicks in his spellbook.
Just wait until those become an actual spell. Alright, the three of you have rejoined in the one shack.
Rain is going to be one of the primary ones to be looking out the windows, considering she can actually see.
And now with Cornelius actually having some wine in his system, drops the facade, not so much drop the facade, but kind of more boldy as Castalia. What actually made you come in contact with your patron?
Hmm. I believe it was a traveler who came by and who spoke of magical skill. And I thought, well, I could apply it to my trade and craft and actually move my craft from shotting shoes to something better. So I went along, naive, foolish, but with a head up in the clouds and a heart full of dreams. It was cold that night, but not really. I mean, there was a nice summer breeze, but it felt a bit more chilly. And soon enough, I met with my patron, pleaded my case, and the pact was made.
I see. What did it cost you anything, or
Well, there's a level of servitude. If my master asks for something, I am obliged to fetch it, present it, perform it, etc., etc. And just a little something extra.
The souls of your friends and beloveds. Or, just helping out.
your patron wouldn't be the kind who would ask you to, in the middle of the night, read the heart out of someone who's sleeping?
Highly doubtful. I'd say the most questionable request so far has been fetch a bit of the Hydra.
All right.
Even then, I took some scales myself.
What exactly did he even inform you what these scales are being used for? Or
No.
From Castalia's hip pocket there is a small column of thick black smoke, and a voice just for her. If I had ears, they'd be burning right now.
do I notice the smoke?
You
Yeah,
notice
33%
the
of
smoke,
right.
yeah.
Your perception is very perceptive right now.
Yeah.
As you just see it start to rise up and almost look like it's facing you.
You know what? Enough about that. Let me refill your glass.
Is the little
Thank you.
practitioner interested?
I close my eyes as the wine glass is refilled. Then, holding it up, I ask, "Are you interested?" He seems interested in you.
I do sometimes find it interesting to meet with new people.
What are you asking me, or are you asking the patron?
Oh, she
I
said it
was
out loud.
Okay, it's just because Corvus was answering, so I was not entirely sure. And now I'm starting to wonder, does the patron count as being in the hut?
He's not actually.
Likely
He's not a
not.
creature. This is just a presence. It's different.
This is more like he's not physically there, but rather just manifesting.
As part of Castalia. Wherever you take her, he comes along. For the purposes of rules.
And that's at this point, realizing I've survived the fireball and I'm having wine. You know what? Sure.
Well, you know how it is. You take his hand, you get him to sync with your breathing to focus. He's somewhat magically inclined. This shouldn't be too difficult.
I set down the wine glass, offer my palm like a fortune teller, and explain the process. Because, do you really want me to repeat it?
No, of course not.
I tentatively take her hand.
Instantly, before you even do any focusing, hello, Mr. Scent.
I believe I'm at a disadvantage.
Yes.
Hello there, Mr. If that's even your title.
Mr. Replies. You've been a little apprehensive on my existence.
You could say that I could be a little apprehensive about voices that are only in one person's head.
But a person has many voices in their head. I am far more than that. But I remember some concerns there were had. I am no fiend, no devil. I do not come from the realms of the burning and the damned. Surely that puts you at ease.
It's a lot more comforting than what was in the hood of the kobold.
No, there is no... I am not a severe patron. She came to me looking to learn. I will teach her. She will learn. And she will go on to make. But while I'm here, do you have any pressing inquiries?
You wouldn't happen to know how to open 3 magical locks without blasting it open?
Find the keys. That's how you open a
Question
lock.
you comment.
No, that book, that you should not have been there. That was interesting. That little dwelling was part of my domain and should not have been so accessible. The book...
I see.
Yes. It's very odd, this planar connections. There are not many. As for the book and the keys, well, they're not that interesting. It's just some scrawlings of a madman, I'm sure. He did not seem all that useful in life or death.
Is there any safe way to destroy this book? Should the occasion require it?
Probably. You could probably put it within a furnace. The book would be destroyed. The locks may trigger, and they'll remain, perhaps, but the book does not seem particularly protected. I'm surprised one who professes to be learned would burn a book. Is that not a sin among the studious?
Depends on who's holding the book.
Ah, it becomes dependent on the subject then. Alright then, this has amused me a tad. I'll leave you now in this little abode. Do take care of my pupil. She is valuable to you. And the smoke recoils and the voice is gone from your head. Noticeably, Rain, when you were, if you watched this at all,
Oh yeah, I was watching.
there was no smoke pouring into Cornelius. It was just sort of looping around his head like a halo.
Well, that was somehow not as uncomfortable as touching the wretched hood of Sassual.
Hmm. He's also a lot less pushy than some warlocks will make you believe with their patrons.
Well, I do not know a lot of warlocks, so I'll take your word for it.
I give a nod and lift my wine to offer a toast to the future.
Apprehensively, I connect with the glass. Well, at the very least, we should be relatively able to dismantle this book should there ever arise critical need to take care of it. The book can be destroyed easily, though it probably would trigger the wardings on it. If, of course, your patron is to be believed.
Well, anything created can technically be destroyed. But do you not wonder what is inside?
I do. But should there be happening anything that should make it so that we cannot escape, then as one last act, this book must be destroyed.
Agreed.
Only as a last resort.
Or whenever we find out the contents.
Or that, yeah. Once we find out what's actually in it, then yeah.
The fourth thing you can do with potato.
You know, I'm kind of wondering how Prenders hopped from trying to make eternal life to suddenly being full-blown necromancer with a whole bunch of morons running around. Acting holier than thou.
Jail time could do things to a man.
He didn't go to jail, he ran away.
Well, you knew him better than us, so you can't fill in the details. I don't know what suggestions we can make.
To be fair, he's not quite the man you used to know currently.
Well, yeah. He's kind of a rotted, preserved corpse thing. It's not exactly what he was when he was in college.
But not a million miles away either.
I personally don't think he's far enough away.
Patron did mention something that was disconcerting. He mentioned that Prentor and the book was in his realm.
Huh? That might explain why we had to do the wonky staircase.
So there might be other forces at play here.
That's more disconcerting than I would like it to be. Because what are they doing mucking around with a bunch of different...
Too many coincidences happening here with outside forces.
It's
Well, I mean,
almost
to
like
be
there's a
perfect-
it's almost like there's a carefully constructed plot with multiple antagonists all interweaving into one narrative.
Shush you.
As the voice of God comes down. Well, to be fair, in our research, we did bop around in a couple of different things, but I had a feeling that he wasn't going to be able to continue a lot of that, considering he didn't speak all the languages required.
I'm just more worried about the fact that we have a hood that somehow managed to be connected to outside forces. Book that has knowledge somehow attached to outside force. And one of the members of our party is connected directly to one of the inhabitants of the outside world
Realms.
realm. All focused in one localized area.
And I will point out, it is mildly creepy on top of that, then I have a connection with one of the people who's been mucking around with them as well. And you and Siegfried have some other thing looking after you guys, and that's a bit different.
Well, I believe with Fried's case, whoever it is hunting him, I am merely a casualty of that. An incidental involvement.
I
Do
assure
you
you,
know
we're all
why
just
any-
coincidences.
Do you know why anybody would want to have information on him?
I do not actually know a whole lot about Siegfried.
Oh, I assumed you all knew each other pretty well.
You'd think!
Well, you can see how talkative the dwarf was. Barely even wanted to mention that he was leaving.
True, but then again, I just thought he didn't like me very much because I'm an elf and I have pointy ears.
No, that was pretty much his normal attitude to everyone. Although the elf part is especially true. And Siegfried, after the certain events which seemed to always have it around ghouls, he kind of clamped up a little bit, got a little too twitchy.
I was about to say he looks like he's seen a ghost 90% of the time, but I just figured that's how he looked all the time.
I just like to imagine all three of them just turning to look at Siegfried sleeping peacefully in his bedroll.
Although he seems to be having a good night tonight.
I don't think he got scratched.
He probably feels better. He didn't get sucked up into a giant rolling bone ball. Oh, God. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can deal with bones all day, and I can bury them, and I can do whatever. It's different when they're pulling you in.
I would imagine so.
As his brow raises while sipping wine. Any further conversation?
I think the talk of conspiracy is dying out.
No yelling at each other, no throwing chairs.
No, we had a civil conversation for a change.
Ah, terrible. You all lose 200 experience.
He says after complaining from the rest of the time that there were never conversation between.
I
the
know, you
party
never
members.
fucking talk. Like, we even got a prime example of that. I thought you'd known about him. Nope. I've just traveled with this man for a few times, faced death, have no idea who he is.
It's like a week, and then I went back to my hometown.
Yes, as you all return to bed, some of you feel inspired, by which I mean you three. Then the final watch arrives as you realize the only ones who haven't woken up yet are Wolfgang and Droop. Wolfgang, quite awkward because, of course, his soul-bonded partner is currently snoozing still, but goblins have a natural affinity with wolves for some reason. And they spend a simple time. Morning arrives. Seems fine. Seems dandy. You awake to no problems. Immediate. You have gained all HP back. All spell slots.
Thank God.
And you drop 1 level of exhaustion if you had any. The morning air is outside the shack. But it looks like it's not raining right now. But the wind is beating. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, there's 1 charge on the staff now. And 4 charges on the bow. So, what are your plans now? It is morning.
How heavy was the rain last night?
Seemed like it didn't really go beyond a mizzle. The ground's actually hard again.
Shall we make an attempt to follow some tracks?
Let's
Yeah.
give it a go.
Do you want to stay and watch the camp, or
Or
do you wish to come with that?
Hang on. I'll stay.
All right. I presume you
So-
take care of the owl bear as well.
And the horses, yeah.
Bye,
Yeah.
Pupplesworth. Be good for Drew.
Really?
That's bravery roll.
Really, Pufflesworth doesn't even know who you are now. You've been away for so long, he's only been with Droop. In fact, Droop's his owner now.
Oh, I cuddle him.
But yes, you set out back up the hill a little bit, through the briar woods. It's still not pleasant, but hey, at least you don't feel you have to be sneaky about it, really. The corpses are, strangely enough, still there. They haven't really been picked at all. Usually birds, at least, would descend on carrion like this. And then you emerge back on the hill that's nearly claimed the lives of several of you. I assume you clamber all the way to the top again?
Yep. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Yep. And you can see the burned, withered husk of what once was an elven necromancer on top of the bone orb. The fire is out. Looks like it, burned out normally. Seems fine.
And I guess the bone orb is still intact.
Oh, yeah. And it's kind of hard to tell because it's now a blackened mess, but, it looks to be the same shape.
Alright, well, let's see if we can hunt down ourselves a necromancer.
Yep. Time to try and find.
Time to do some tracking, Ranger.
Maybe we'll be lucky and he bundled down for the night as well.
I'm going to assume you're going to say he was sniffing.
Yeah. Trying to find a scent trail.
It's incredibly faint by now, but with Zarzul able to pick up on the tracks as well. The two of you barrel off. You've got what you think is a path. It seemed to go at speed all the way to the east and continues onwards. Oh boy, hang on a second, let me just gather some fucking breath. Rib cage is aching now. Yes, So, how are you pursuing?
Probably it's speed.
Carefully. I'm expecting traps.
Okay. So Zarzul is declaring the pace to be cautious and slow, methodical.
Well, then we're going to have to follow it because he's the one pointing the way.
I could go faster, but we're dealing with somebody who had time.
Fair enough.
Yeah. As you follow the tracks, it looks like for quite a while he was maintaining a pretty damn good sprint. The feet are landing distantly apart. He's not making much effort to confuse or evade with his tracks, actually. It just seemed like he was going for a straight dash as quick as he could.
Wasn't expecting his friend to slow us down much, or something.
This continues on for about 5 or 10 minutes. The terrain changed a little bit. It starts to become more tiered, where as you're following along, you're now on the highest part next to the sheer cliff. Or the sheer mountain, I suppose it would be. And then you can see there's a tier below, and a tier below is more sudden drops. There's less ease of access on this pathway. It looks like no one's really come around to this part at all. As you continue along, you're picking up on... He stopped here for a moment, probably to catch his breath, because he'd been going full pelt. And a little further ahead, once again, he starts at a walk. You can see where he turned to see if, to a view behind him. And then once again broke off into a sprint, and then looks like he stopped suddenly. And do-do-do. Let's see, let's gather these tokens into one easy little blob. Oop. Fucking nose is wrecked. Okay. And we carry you fuckers down here. So yes, you saw that he ran along here. Then this bit is where he skidded and ducked in here.
Zarzul, can you sense any undead?
It's going to take a little bit of time, but I can do that. I can have a look around. See if I sense any other undead around.
There are no undead in the area. It's a 5-mile radius, so fuck it, there might be some encounters in 5 miles. It's hard to tell with his fucking skill. It's a bit cruel on the DM, this move. But in your local area, there are no undead.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see, let's sure reveal a bit more, actually. Oh god, no more sneezing, please. See, I think that's what you guys will be able to see.
Well, let's proceed forward cautiously, I guess.
And check out where he went skating to a halt. I got rid of detect magic. Does anybody have detect magic?
Actually, considering how tall that plateau is, you wouldn't be able to see quite as much.
I'm a bit worried about some sort of magical warding.
Hang on, let me try something. Can I do the Unseen Serpent as a ritual? Yes, I can.
Yeah, it's a ritual spell.
I've
I
got
didn't
it.
think it-
I've got it not as a ritual.
Yeah, so I try kind of take some branches and kind of make it walk forward to see if it triggers anything.
Do you name it Siegfried just for the hell of it? Siegfried 1, go wag the stick at these traps. But yeah, as it's poking along, as a little weird sort of mine detector. Also, it takes about 10 minutes for you to cast this, so there was some waiting around. It continues in the cursor area. Moves along here, I imagine. Although you'll have to move with it, because it is tied to your radius. Or range expression. And as you get closer to the edge... Yeah, now I reveal this bit, even though there's nothing actually in graphic-wise. It's just so you know. You can see that there's the remains of a very rough camp in this clearing area here. It looks like...
Is this below or above us?
Ah, yes, I should point out. Down here,
Okay.
there is the remains of a dismantled camp. It looks like rough animal hides and some sticks.
Perhaps we got lucky and you got ambushed.
Well, we can't see all the way down. Let's see if we can pop into that area he ducked off in and see if there's anything special.
It's always tough to work out what you can see with perspective.
Yeah, I'm guessing the little Unseen Servant hasn't triggered anything.
No, he's just poking along. Following your command to potentially sacrifice himself. And as you round the corner, there is... Well, for Zarzul, there are tracks. There is indications. You can see where he pressed himself up against the wall. You can see where he scooted across it, pressing himself to it. He seemed to follow this line. And then this...
Why is he's avoided that space in front of us and gone round the...
No, I'm saying this is where you can see his tracks changed.
So
Yeah,
there
so-
probably was a camp below and he didn't want to be noticed.
Possibly, yeah.
He sidled along this area here. You can see this is where he stopped. This has more depressions of just possibly waiting. And then a walking speed away, further to the east.
Interesting. He's walked off to the east. He's slowed down a bit, but we're not moving quickly at the moment.
This
If I
might
had to
be
guess, he figured.
Captain Servant.
If I had to guess at this point, he's probably figured we're not going to follow him.
Well, let's move on with haste then.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. To the east, we've left the cart behind.
Yeah.
Oh, droop and everything. Are we going to go back to that?
Eventually.
Okay.
The cart can't come through the forest.
No. Oh, onwards.
For another 10 or so minutes of careful pursuit. Well, actually, you've sped up now, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yes, another 10 minutes. You see, again, there's moments where he broke into a run. There's bits where he's turned around. Now and again, he seems to have skidded into bushes or against the wall of the mountain. But after that, there is a sudden stop in the tracks. It's right in a clearing. It's just empty space around. You can see where he ran, and then nothing. You look around to check, maybe he jumped, maybe he grappled onto something. Maybe there was another creature here he jumped onto, but you can just see his footprints, his scuffs, and then nothing.
Did he teleport?
Aerial predator?
There's no sign of any, large feathers that could carry away a person. Or scales or such.
If he had teleported, he probably would have done it earlier, I would have thought. Unless it takes time to cast.
Should we try fanning out a little bit and seeing if whatever he did, he managed to levitate for a bit, like one of the discs or something, to remove any sort of a trace, and then he had to start walking again later?
Partial levitation? Yeah, I guess that's possible. Yeah, let's search out a bit.
All right.
Is there any way he could have ended up popping off into another dimension or something?
Guess I could do an Arcana check to think about
Sure.
it. Beats me.
I mean, why not? If you throw out all the logical possibilities, sure, maybe that could happen too.
I mean,
That was just
no,
one
wait a sec. I
option.
don't know if 5E's got the place that's got all the doors in, does it?
Yeah, it's got sickle.
Well, let's look around, see if we can pick up a trail.
As you all spread out, I'm gonna need some survival checks.
Oh yeah.
While I struggle to survive my own way.
Oh. Time to roll badly. Hell yeah.
Unsurprisingly, the wizard not very good at survival.
Siegfried and Rain. Looks like some mountain goats come out here.
Okay, so we don't
Zarzul, you're
see-
having no luck finding his trail again. But neither is anyone else.
What
There's one.
spell could he have used?
Is there any scent trail? Like, is it just gone off in a direction, or does his scent stop there as well?
It's been, an entire evening, and it is a heavy winds, but even then, it's just the scent doesn't linger that long. Even
We
with
followed this. Oh, sorry.
well, you were mainly following the footprints. Wolfgang wasn't actually picking up on a whole lot of scent. The trail got a bit cold.
So we're at his final footprints.
Yeah.
Are they sunk into the ground?
They don't seem any more depressed than the others.
Then he likely did not teleport away.
I'm gonna try doing a ritual cast for detect magic and see if we've got anything around here.
Because if the other footprints were all while he was running, that would mean he's not putting much weight on the ground because he's constantly moving. And if the final footprints are the same, that means he was plucked off the ground.
Well, remember, running could also be, 30 feet per every 6 seconds. That's pretty fast if you think about it.
Well, I'm gonna try to do a detect magic and see if we've got anything around here.
You and the rest of the party light the fuck up. Only Wolfgang isn't a bright beacon of various loot. But there's nothing in the area.
And any undead pockets, Zarzul?
No, there were none.
There are none. I mean, there may be some in a 5-mile radius. It's hard to tell, really. It's a tough thing to plan out.
Fucker.
Well, we gave it a shot.
This is strange.
Because what would he have that could pluck him out of the sky?
I'm wondering if he came this way at all. Could he? Is there some form of magic he could have used to sort of create a trail?
Nothing that would last this long.
Okay.
Like, from how little of a scent that Wolfgang's picking up on, these aren't fresh tracks.
From where his last tracks are, is there anything above them? Like, what am I looking at? Is just clear sky upward?
Clear sky and the great sheer wall face of the mountain.
Oh dear.
Did
Although, give me a
somebody
perception.
drop-
Oh, is someone gone?
Oh.
No, looks like we're all still here. Sound off if you got a pair of lungs.
So, perception?
Yeah, whoever's gonna look up at the mountain, give me a perception roll.
I'm looking up because I was talking about what was above me. Not as good as last night.
You're squinting a little bit. It's a bit tough. Yeah. Now that you're not alone with two ladies, you're not really as focused.
With alcohol.
Yeah. There's no wine in the room. Siegfried, as you narrow your eyes, you can see high up. There are small little imperfections in the smooth surface of the stone. Like very small, very high up. Couple of 100 feet. Well, I'm trying to think now what sort of scale we'd be at with a mountain. Ugh. And as you focus a little bit, it looks like a hand coming out of the surface.
Okay.
Did he go up?
Magic gone wrong?
Mm, What do you mean magic gone wrong?
You should know what that
Jeez.
means.
Yeah, but I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I point out to where I believe I see somebody's arm sticking out of a mountain, which might be a failed tele.
Well, there's only way to one way to find out. We should probably head up there somehow.
Oh dear.
Too bad we don't have Droop's spider doohickey.
It's quite high up. Like, I'm trying to think of a sort of...
Doohickey would have fixed that.
I'm trying to think of a good kind of scale of it. Like, you're looking at a pinprick of a deformation, but you're able to make out with your eagle eyes, as if you're looking at near the top floor of a skyscraper kind of thing. This is a bit of a jaunt.
Don't we have a potion that helps with this?
If we do, it's probably sinking back in the cart and it probably won't last long enough.
Hang on, let me just check. Hey, I do actually have a spider climb.
How long does it last?
Because I didn't put the detail in here, but I have ASN books, so who knows?
I believe it's a concentration.
Yes.
Say.
It lasts up to an hour.
Yep.
That might be enough to get me up there. Just
But how
'cause
about
for some
coming
reason-
down again?
That's what I'm worried about.
Getting down is real easy.
Getting down in one piece.
Going up with spider climb is basically normal walking speed.
Well, what I can wonder is, particularly if I can get up there, if I can see a path down, then I could,
Yeah, the wall is just sheer stone, like it just rose up clear from the ground.
on all sides, or?
Well, you can only see one side. It's just been a massive wall from east to west here.
Well, what we could do is if we do the spider climb, I can go up, check out what's going on up there, and then come right back down. Maybe see it from up top if there's a way we can get up there. Oh dear. Okay. Sorry, my computer had a conniption. But what does everybody think of that plan?
To go over it again?
Use the spider climb. I go up, see what's going on, and see if there's a way that we can climb up. And once I suss out the area and see if it's any place we want to be anyways, then I can come back down and relay everything.
Yeah, fine by me.
All right, let's give it a go.
Alright, put my hand on your shoulder and, climb like a spider.
Then I get climbing up there.
Alright, let's work out. Let's do some math, shall we?
Yeah.
If only I could look this up on Google. I should have prepared this sort of thing.
Well, if
You
you say
should know our party takes this as the most straightforward path possible.
okay, well, let me say it this way: if you say it's like 100 meters, sheer cliff face, and spider climb makes it so that you are scaling that wall at normal walking pace, it should not take her that long to get up.
Yeah, well, it's a bit higher than that, but still, it would be within the hour at least. Both up and
she's
down.
not-
But it is disconcerting, Rain, as you put your feet on the wall, go completely horizontal, not for the first time, aha, and begin to walk up as you look at, you know, your fellow party members and Siegfried, who is probably pretty confused. I mean, no one volunteered him. No one
I'm
said...
keeping quiet, thank you very much.
But you start clumping your muddy boots up this immense stone edifice. It's really weird because you're not sure, can I take a break and sit down at some point? Am I able to, you know, if I run, will there be a moment when my feet aren't in full contact with it? Maybe a light jog or some power walking to get up. And of course, you know, you're having to deal with the fact that the rest of your clothing and all is not likewise glued to the wall the same way. So, you know, there's a moment when your satchel nearly strangles you. That awkward feeling of having your mace fall down, limp at your back, and sort of clouding you now and again on a bad step. But as you get closer, you too can see it is an arm. It is withered. It is like like the skin has long desiccated into a wrinkled but tautly pulled leather covering, and it is flush with the wall. There is no cracks or anything. There is nothing that indicates, you know, this came out or this was put in. And the hand is splayed outwards in a grasping sort of gesture. And there's a ring on the finger. On the ring finger. There's a ring on the ring finger.
Alright.
But I will point out, and you can tell this is long dead.
Yeah, this ain't new.
No.
I go to gently remove the ring. I knew that this was going to be a problem.
You can roll athletics or dexterity
What's it gonna be?
as the hand tries to close around yours.
Dexterity, defy.
With the grip of a vice, it clamps down on your hand. You're stuck here now.
This is your
Good thing
life.
you have- Good thing you have an undead bashing mace at your side.
Yeah, Shayma grabbed your right hand, huh?
No, it would be the left.
Of course she's sinister.
Yeah, the first reaction is going to be to try to yank my arm out of the hand.
Alright, give me a strength check.
Oh, that's a strength save.
Same thing, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Unlucky for you.
Yeah.
But it's also going to squeeze. You take 3 points of damage as it just starts to crush your hand.
Nope, I'm gonna be yanking my arm out even harder now. That's no bueno.
Incidentally, in your flurry of activity, you are noticing that as you look around in a panic for help at all, anyone, you can see that there are other arms coming out around this same sort of height along the stone. Some of them,
Joy!
some of them just at the wrist, some are only the tips of the fingers. This one seems to be the only one that's like clear out from the elbow.
Okay, this is a problem. I need to get out of here right now, and I'm not getting out of here right now.
The rest of you just see her sort of flailing and scrabbling. What is with this Roll20? What the hell? But it continues to put on the squeeze. What the hell? Hang on.
I'm going to...
This doesn't count, but... Okay, there we go. I can roll different numbers. Hurrah.
I'm going to try to now change tactics. I'm going to try to bash it with my bashy. Where's my bashy? Nope, I'm not bashing it with my bashy.
Well, it's an arm in a stone edifice. It's kind of lodged in place. It's not heavily armored. You do bash it for 7. Still grabbing you.
Crap.
It's not letting go.
I mean, it looks like you damaged it, but... Man, that's fucking tight.
In that case, I'm going to bash it again.
Well, first of all, it gets to do what it wants to you.
Oh yeah, I know.
And... it's going to try and yank you.
Oh no. Nope.
What
No.
are you gonna do to stop it from yanking you off the wall? It's still keeping a grip on you. And it's not like it can extend further out, but it's trying to pull you.
Oh, I really... well, actually, hold on.
Whatever you do, don't do dispel.
No, I wasn't going to do that. Actually, I don't have that. Oh, it has no effect. I'm dead. Fuck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just have to try to yank back really, really hard. I don't have a lot on this. I don't have a lot I can do here. I don't have a useful spell here. Crap!
You're still in his clutches. What are you doing? Oh, also, correction, because of the failure. You are now dangling. It has you by the hand, and that's the only thing attaching you to the wall right now.
Okay, can we see at this point?
Oh yeah, you can see her dangling. Sort of. It's a little blob.
Some of us can.
Yeah. Some of you got the eyesight for it. Zarzul has no idea. You can see that she's no longer on the wall.
Okay, I think we gotta need to start working on a plan B here.
I have a plan B. I have Featherfall.
Well, we don't know that. You never told us.
Yeah, I know.
To be fair, it's not letting go.
Hang on. Who has the scroll ascending? I probably have one.
At this point, I'm going to try to bash it again. That just seems like it's going to be the most successful.
Well,
I'm not being very strong right now.
It's a disadvantage because you're dangling in place.
Yeah.
This is how she dies.
I can see this. Yeah, this is going to be how she died.
I bet you're wishing now you sent Siegfried up.
Yep.
You'd bash it for free. It's still got you.
Ah, damn.
It looks well injured for what it is.
Well, if it looks well injured,
Well,
maybe another bash will do it.
first of all, it gets to put the squeeze on you. It's number 4 as it continues to crush your hand. Your fingertips, which you can see coming out of it, are starting to look very purple.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Damn!
Okay, at this point, it's time to unfold the descending.
Hang on. Can you send a disc up for her?
Nope.
Those floating
Send-
discs.
No.
The disc follows him.
Yeah. That's also way out already.
The disc is designed for a wizard to stick treasure chests on it and walk with confidence. Yeah, a 1 does not hit it. Once more of a squeeze. You take another 3 points of damage. I kind of wish we got to do the other encounter, but this one's great. I didn't think this one would ever come up.
Damn it.
Okay, at this point, I
Do I hit?
want to go up and help her.
How?
Well, considering she's dangling and someone thing is apparently holding on to her since she keeps trying to hit it, I'm guessing it's going to hold on to her for a little while. So if anyone can run up there, I can put another spell as someone break her spell, and someone can run up and help her.
So what if you break her spell and we start heading up there and it lets go and she tries to touch the wall to hang on? She's not going to hang on and plummet to her death. So we wouldn't actually be helping.
No, listen to him. It's all part of the plan. It's fine. It's good.
I suppose I'll do it. If
Alright,
someone's going to, might as well be me.
Alright, do anyone have any rope?
I mean, Rain does.
Rope. I don't think
I
that's
hand
gonna
over
help
some
you.
rope.
Alright, hand it over to her. Castalia, you should probably somehow attach it to her while helping her out. And see if you can pull her up the rest of the way, or at least hold on to her once you release her from whatever's happening.
Sure thing.
And I nervously look up and readies the spell for Castalia, going, I hope this is the right choice.
Okay, so you put the spell on Castalia, yes?
Yeah.
And then Rain swings her mace. A 9 hits. The arm breaks off the wall.
You motherfucker.
Rain's now plummeting, with this thing still clutching her, as Castalia is about to put 1 foot onto the cliff.
But Featherfall is a reaction to falling.
It is. Do you cast it?
Oh, heck yes!
And slowly she starts to float down. Castalia, getting horizontal like this, is doing odd things to all the little, like, translucent silks of the outfit and all the jingly jangly, like, charms and shit. You're making a lot more noise than you do normally. And then you you notice, well, that's Rain coming towards you at high speed, sort of. There was a moment when she was coming really, really fast, and now it's just a steady, slow progression. You know, you could go up and meet her.
I guess so. Yeah, I'll go up and greet her.
There's this... Because Rain is falling at 60 feet per turn.
Mhm.
So that means Castalia could run up and then run down with her. However, after the first turn, it squeezes.
Yep.
Number 5 damage as it continues to just crush on your hand. It's really fucking hurting right now.
No kidding!
But man, that ring on its finger looks shiny. It looks like it's a magical ring. It's decorated.
I want to know what it is. I'm worried. I'm thinking it might be useful to us.
Well, you're kind of busy right now, in a way.
Yeah, I know. I'm more busy about making sure I get to the ground.
Yeah, you're not quite in the mood to... But you know, if you want to forgo your turn, sure, you can roll Arcana.
No, I don't care about that yet. I'm just focusing on making sure
How
I
long
get
does
to the
Slitherfall
ground.
last?
Until you land.
A minute.
Okay.
Or until you land.
Yeah.
It's a minute or until you land.
And yeah, she's gonna reach the ground in a minute at 60 foot a turn. So, what are you doing, Rain? Because you've still got a turn or two until Castalia catches up.
Well, the thing keeps doing stupid things, so I'm gonna try to rip the hand off of my hand.
Okay.
That did not work.
I mean, it might roll badly. It didn't.
It doesn't.
It's gonna squeeze. It's really fucking smarting. There's definitely some popping sounds.
I'm gonna repeat this thing again, where I'm gonna try to yank it off.
Oh, that might work. Let's see, it was a plus for you. It did not work.
Nope.
What?
And then you're remembering that this, the dancing figure running up this wall towards you, she's got the gauntlets that make you super strong.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, Castalia, you have now drawn level and realize you have to start running down now to keep up with her. But you can see her hand looks horrifically swollen on the bits you can see, and there's this awful withered hand and broken arm clutching at her.
Ugh.
My response is going to be to put my arm out and go, yank this off, please.
While you're falling.
Yes.
At
Yeah.
my dash speed.
Yep.
Yes.
And if some for reason that she yanked you into the wall, then you're technically landed, so you'll be only falling at normal.
You're not there. Yes, she is currently asking for She is currently asking for assistance during a deadliest hand job she's ever had.
Alright, now, is it possible?
Yes, but it will. But you do think if she touches a surface, that might interfere with the spell.
Oh.
And currently, if you yank on it, well, it's not like she's in a fixed position. You're going to pull her as well.
True.
And that is going to be an abrupt stop of 60 feet per second, which is double the speed you would be falling after 1 second of fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Featherfall stops now, she hits the ground next turn.
Yeah.
And we're currently looking at probably about 7d10 damage. Or d6 damage, sorry. She could survive. She could walk that off.
If he hadn't squeezed all the life out of me.
I mean, that can't be more than twice her max HP. She'll walk away from it.
I am almost at half health. from a hand job.
Yep.
I don't know what I should do.
Well, I mean, if you say, I don't think that's smart, then I'm
Basil
just
is
gonna start
stepping
yanking
back
it off.
from the.
I mean, the bigger issue is you're having to dash to keep up, so all you've got is a bonus action to help with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, assuming she's not going to help, then I'm just gonna try to yank it off again.
Yeah, I really can't do much, except for something that would likely kill you both.
I mean, you could
Yeah, that
inspire.
would be-
You could inspire her.
That is true. I
Oh,
can't
there you
do-
go. She did finally pull free.
Thank goodness.
Castalia, give me a dex save.
Oh, it's gonna leap at me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm holding onto it. with the other hand.
You are, but it's also grabbing Castalia now. Castalia, you are attached to the wall, yes, but there's now the whole extra body weight of another person. It's a struggle, especially since you were starting to turn around to run down. This might go badly.
It already has gone badly.
And a fresh set of turns begin. It's gonna squeeze. Alright, and it grabs onto the upper arm of Castalia and just starts to crush.
Alright.
I got you a well, this time I'm getting you off a cliff. Gravity is your ultimate enemy.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's gonna kill Rain is gravity.
Now, yeah.
And momentum.
Now, if I were to break its wrist, would it still be squeezing?
Well, how are you intending to do this?
I have gauntlets of very strong. So I was wondering if I could crush its wrist. And then while crushing it, then I'd be able to hold on to it while Rain is still holding on to it.
The problem is it's not really using its wrist to do anything. It's all in the fingers. But I'd say that would give it disadvantage on any grapple checks from then on.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll have to be a high athletics roll. Well, strength check. Either one of those.
Alright.
I think it's the same modifier for you. I'm not sure if you got athletics.
I do not.
Okay.
See, just set that, because technically. And I just click for strength check.
Oh yeah, that's plenty high. You crush its wrist. It's still digging into you. But there's definitely more give now as Rain fucking flaps around. Like, she's moving at a controlled pace. Sort of. But she's still attached to you while you're kind of skidding and getting dragged. But you're still attached to the wall.
Well, that's good.
Rain, what are you doing right now?
I am currently very concerned that I'm now not moving. My argument's probably going to be, let go of it! Because I want to get on the ground.
So you gonna let go of it?
No, I'm telling Castalia to let go of it.
Oh,
You're
she's not holding it.
Oh, she's
It's
not?
holding
No.
me.
Yeah, it's holding her.
Well, in that case, I'm going to try to yank it off of Castalia. That didn't work.
You could just let go at this point, and you'd float down.
No, but I don't want it. I don't want you to be stuck with it.
I just broke its wrist. I'm pretty sure I can tear it right off.
There is this feeble... There's this weird tug that doesn't have any base or gravity to it. And Castalia, you wonder, if she pulls that too hard, that would pull you off the wall.
That as well.
Because if it managed to, succeed against that, which it can at this point, that would yank you off too. Anyway, next round. What are you guys doing?
Just watching, fascinated at this circus going on up there.
You're now about 40 feet from the ground.
Zazel and Wolfgang have retreated to a safer distance.
I hope
Did
one
anyone
of you
even
has
tell
brought
you guys what's happening?
I hope one of you has brought out the popcorn.
That's 5 points as it continues to crush down on Castalia's arm.
Alright. I'm
Makes
going
a
to
cha-
break its fingers to remove it from me, so that Rain
This
and
little
Nick can
piggy
fall
went to
further.
market. This little piggy stayed home.
I'm half tempted. So that's a strength check.
Yeah, and it's got disadvantage on it because you snapped its wrist.
Okay, let's hope I roll good.
Yeah, you did. It got 5. So you could just wrench it off and pull it away.
And so I do.
Rain, you're now holding on to this thing. Give me a deck save. That's enough. It lunges. You're still holding on to it. But it doesn't get a grip on you this time. What are you doing for your turn?
Well, I'm just trying to hold it away from me long enough that I can get on the ground.
Okay. Next turn. Rain plants her feet on the ground delicately while she's holding this grasping, lunging hand. It's making all kinds of horrible crackling sounds as bits of bone start to puncture the skin around the wrist. Castalia, you can choose to run down the last bit of a wall.
Just let go of it, damn it.
I'm debating if that's smart, but yeah, I'm gonna try to throw it up against the cliff face, not where Castalia is landing. I want to see if it can wiggle on over. If it's gonna try to get on over to one of us.
All right.
Yes.
Give me a strength roll. You try to throw it, and it wraps around and grabs you by the elbow.
Thrice, damn it!
I'm surprised it's still able to do that with broken wrist and fingers.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, she only had to beat a 7.
Can somebody help?
Yeah, I'm running over there and try to grab onto it and do a shocking grasp on it.
Well, first of all, it manages to do 3 points of damage as it starts to dig its fingers in. It doesn't get the modifier because its fingers are broken now. Well, roll your attack. And with a zap, it falls. It no longer moves once it's on the ground.
Oh, thank fuck.
What was
Now,
up there?
the entire cliff face, when you get up that high, has these things. This is just the one that was sticking out the farthest.
Wonder if that's how we got up there.
Quite possibly. Either way, I walk over there, and I do say the either way. Rain walks over, goes to pick up the hand again and try to get the ring off.
Dex save. No, you get the ring off. But in a way, you didn't learn any lesson.
No, she's trusting that it was dead.
You keep twisting and pulling, the finger comes off, and you pull the ring off the severed finger, and there you go, you've now got a ring.
I investigated to see if there's anything special about it.
Alright, Arcana.
Okay.
Or Identify, whichever.
Well, no, I don't want to do that right now.
One's going to tell you a lot more than the other. This definitely looks like a finely crafted ring. It seems to be like a feather made of metal wrapping around with a band around it.
Well then. I turned to Cornelius. Do you think you can figure out anything about this and if this is going to be helping us?
Well, I could take a look at it when we at that camp. What did you see up there? Other than
It was all I saw was the hand, and then there were some fingertips and other bits of hand that's up there. So there's more of them up there.
Hmm. Do you think it would be safe for Castalia to get up there, see what it is?
As
Or is it-
long as she doesn't run into the hands, yes.
Well, Castalia, are you off for it?
Hmm. I don't have as safe a way down. So does anyone have those spikes you jab into walls from when climbing?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I do
Wait.
have a bag of
Go on.
I do have a bag of caltrops, but I don't think that's gonna help.
Just press him in really hard.
I do have some buttons.
Yep, that's the things.
Ah, perfect.
And I even believe I've got the hammer to actually hit put them in. Let's see. Yep, I got the hammer.
Well, then I guess it's worth a shot.
Yeah, that way you have a plan B in case things go wrong. Just don't let the thing grab you.
Let's see.
Oh, fucking hell.
So with rope and pitten in hand, I begin to spider climb up the wall.
Yep, you continue walking up it quite normally, although weirdly, considering the 90 degrees difference. It's a fair old jaunt. Doesn't take you long to get to where the chunk of severed arm and the stone meet together. And you can see Rain wasn't lying. As you look to the left and right, you can see around this level, and in fact some in front of you, in fact, there are digits, there are hands, there are wrists, there are forearms, various lengths all jutting out along this area of the wall of the stone. It seems to curve inward a little bit, and that's part of why Siegfried could only see that one jutting out, plus the distance. But now you see it's still very sparse. You know, there's still a lot of distance between them all, but there's a number of them.
Hmm. About how far up am I?
At this point, you'd be about 150 feet or so.
Okay, so I can't really communicate to any of the others what I'm seeing.
Not in detail. You can make a noise.
Well, a noise isn't really super helpful. Okay.
You could write a note and drop it on them.
It's the same as dropping a penny, and that's dangerous.
It's fine.
Yeah, no, a note should be fine.
Yeah, just aim for Zarzul. He'll see it coming.
Then I basically scrawl a note describing all the hands and such in this area. Although I do have an idea. Oh no, that's not going to be helpful. Never mind. Although, how am I supposed to receive a message back? I have no clue.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Only
forget the
taking
note. I'm just
taking
gonna.
the scroll of sending with you.
Well, how many meters up is she?
150, so 50 meters. 150 feet, so 50 meters.
Should be able to hear you if you yell.
Yeah, if anything, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that goes that far. I don't think. But yeah, yelling should probably work, right?
Because it's hard to work out, like, what's the sort of range of feet for a mountain? Maybe she should be 300 feet up to be, like, a quarter of a way. How high is
Then
Everest in feet?
Then I yell down that there's definitely a lot of hands up here, and I'm not certain we can go this way.
Oh,
Well, what?
Then-
You cut out.
no, that was about it. Basically,
Yep. Just turn around, cut the spell, and walk away.
There has to be a way on up.
Is there a way you can follow the hands? Do they lead in a path, or is there just a wall of hands?
There's just a lot of hands there. If we
You-
were the
you'd have to
owner,
be
I
very-
guess the hands would help us up, but
You'd have to be very cautious.
You guys wouldn't be able to communicate this, but the Castalia, it looks like it's more sort of random scatterings.
does the mountain count as an object?
A very big object.
If I cast a spell magic on the mountain, would all the hands rain down on us?
No.
That would be hilarious.
I think the monster.
That's a
probably
little.
counts
That's a little bit of a
as
small
drop.
spell. You're asking to move a mountain.
If it was area of effect, I would have said that, but I can only target a single thing. So that means I can only make one hand fall away.
I mean, what makes you think it would fall?
Not true. It might just, shrink back into the mountain.
It took a lot of frenzied bashing for one to come off.
Does anyone have a fireball?
Nope.
Wait, you don't
I
have
did,
a
but you
fireball?
killed the guy. I did, but you killed the guy who had them.
I don't have fireballs.
You got those treated.
I mean, you could try and whip or eldritch blast some of the hands away.
There's a lot of hands. It'll take a good amount of time.
It will.
Could you burning hands a lot of them away?
Well, I mean,
He
it
has to
could burn-
concentrate.
And true.
You can
What
cast
do I
instant.
got?
You can cast instant spells and other spells that don't
Yeah.
require concentration while concentrating on one.
But that does mean that you're going to come down, and then I have to cast Spider Climb on myself. Then I have no more of those spells, so then I have to use higher level spells. So I'm going to use Spider Climb again.
Well,
Mm.
what could make sense is if she came down, I got spider climbed, I could go up and poison spray the lot of them.
That's the same problem, though.
Yeah. But then getting down wouldn't be a problem because I can get myself safe.
Does our exploding crossbow do a real effect?
Nope.
No.
No. Does anyone have any dynamite?
She screams this down the mountainside while you guys are shouting up at her.
No, if we're having conversations and I'm walking down, so we're not yelling quite as loud.
It's a bit of a weird view as she's walking down. Like, the tail is kind of just hanging over the side, trying to wiggle.
Well, if they grab anything, maybe they'll grab some lit dynamite.
Yeah, dynamite does not exist in this setting.
And we don't have any gunpowder.
No, gunpowder doesn't exist. You've got smoke powder, which is highly volatile.
We don't have an alchemist in the group.
And your dwarf walked away with a bomb bag.
That would be very helpful right now. Although, then again, asking him to throw bombs up is questionable. Because they will come down.
It should be mentioned though that I have spell sniper, so my range have doubled the range that I can shoot up to 240 feet with my fireball.
Yeah, but straight up and at things that are recessed against the wall. Like, there's some very difficult shots if you're going to plink at this. She might be here all day.
Well, I did put the pittons in.
No. You didn't say you were putting the pythons in.
I did. I said it when I was climbing up.
Yeah, she did mention that.
If she did, then you were finding that
that.
you could not put them in.
Oh.
You bashed them with a hammer and you were not able to chip through a stone.
Magic Mountain. See, now I wanted to dispel the mountain.
How sure are we that this mountain isn't a rock golem?
I think it would have done something with the amount of us walking over it and someone wrenching a hand out of it. I mean, it has many hands, but I think it'd notice when you're pulling something out of it.
Well, it should be mentioned that the spell sniper I also ignore 3/4 and half cover, so technically I shouldn't have that much issue taking some of the more exposed hands out.
At least enough for her to get up. Because it's not like you have to get them all, just enough that.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to take. This is gonna be a DM ruling, whether or not it'll be feasible or not.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, with the later one she was seeing higher up, the mountain was starting to curve inwards. So, it's a straight line, and then it starts to tilt to one side a bit, so those start to go over the lip and out of sight. Also, I'm not entirely sure if you'd be in range even with Spell Sniper, because it's hard to work out how big is a mountain in feet. That's a tough one. Oh, boy.
It'd be quite a distance.
Yeah.
List of mountains by elevation. Let's see. Let's do some small mountains. They're down at the bottom.
Look up Ben Nevis, that'll do.
Ben?
Yeah, Ben Nevis. I think that's the tallest mountain in the UK, so should be a decent sort of
Ben
measurement.
Nevis. 4,413 feet.
Yeah, okay. So it would probably be about half that size. So it's still,
about 2,000.
you're looking at about 2,000 feet. That's a long climb.
Yeah, that's... Yeah.
You clear the hands, but you're still looking at an hour not being enough.
Yeah. Let's see, 60 feet.
Actually, no. probably.
No,
Hang on, let's see here. Hmm. That probably wouldn't even be half that. It'd probably be less than that. Probably about.
let's see, the 10.
You're probably looking about 700, 800 feet or so.
You could do 600 feet a minute. So you could get up there full dashing in 4 minutes.
But do you think you'd be able to sustain that? Like that's Olympian sort of pace.
Yeah.
That's where sort of combat rules and exploration rules are sort of an iffy thing.
Well, there is one thing to consider also. Say you go up, if you start falling because you run out of time, I can still feather fall you down.
But the other thing is also, and I think this is something that should have been brought up earlier, I don't think our rope is 2,000 feet big.
Well, definitely not.
No.
No, but the mountain itself is probably more sort of 1,000, 1,200 sort of feet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, if we go up, I'm not thinking. It'd be mostly to see if we could figure out and find a way that we could get everybody else up without doing a spider climb.
Like as you're going up, you can see far in the distance to the west the very small figure of Castle Raxis itself sitting atop this. Well, that's far, far in the distance.
So what you're saying is that we probably would have to go rest and take the.
No, I'm
actual
just
way
saying
around.
that's. I'm just saying this is also on the mountain.
The Castle of Raxis is on the same mountain, right?
Mm-hmm. You got
Okay, well,
you got an idea of this as you were traveling, although it's still curvature of the earth and all that sort of thing. It's kind of hard to put together, but you get the idea that this is sort of the back wall of the kingdom, kind of,
Well,
as you can
that
see
lets
in
us
the
know-
artistic rendering.
Well, that lets us know that the Necromancer is in the city of Raxis.
I don't
The
know.
Castle of Raxis.
Yeah, the castle is separate from the city. In fact, Castelli, if you were up there and took a look around, you'd be able to see the splendor of the kingdom of Raxis as far as you could really tell.
I take in that view and come down.
It's a pretty big view. Pretty big.
It's a nice view. And I basically say, well, if this is the mountain where Raxis Castle is on, we should probably go in the front door.
Well, don't see us coming out anywhere else.
Yeah.
It also means they have a Necromancer infestation.
Like, when I say you could see the castle, that is many, many miles off to the west.
Oh, so it's like, it's on a mountain, but it's on a plateau on top of the mountain.
Yeah, it's like on the opposite end kind of thing.
There has to be a way up that way.
Like, let's see, where's the artistic
well, yeah,
impression?
I mean, it's a castle. There has to be a way to get in from everywhere else. But it also tells us where the Necromancer would likely go.
Also might be where our princess is.
Well, yeah, but, well, given the state that it's a civil war, it's questionable. Because you think the castle, the first place they check for the royal family.
Yeah, but they're also swarming with necromancers
Well, there's just one.
that we know of. Technically, we knew there was two, and then Prenders was involved with this whole thing. And from
But-
the way he was talking, it makes me think there's more than just them.
Hmm.
What are you guys doing? What's the plan?
Crying hysterically.
You'll be pleased to know crying is a free action.
Making sure I know the way back to the car.
Yeah, you've got no problem there. Wolfgang can lead you. Or you could always throw the hood back.
Would that help?
I mean, you'd be able to see normally.
True.
You pretty much just followed a straight path along the cliff, along the mountain wall.
Well, unless you want to keep going along the cliff face, see if there's a way up, I suggest we head towards the car, figure out our destination.
Indeed.
And since I'm in terrible condition, we're actually going to leave off on that bit.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, any issues for people apart from possibly being deceased?
Nobody's allowed to die, forbidden.
If I die, I'll let you know, then revive.
Good. I
I'll
like
be
prior
there for the
notice.
first time.
But yeah, we should be able to do this next week, hopefully. I'll be in better condition. Fucking pollen is killing me. But, new directions, new opportunities. And next time at Rescue at Raxis.